Okay. Everyone get good seats, good pictures, front row. Anyone get autographs?
Yes.
From who?
Rupert and Emma.
Rupert and Emma.
Rupert, Emma, and Tom. Rupert, Emma, and Tom.
Oh wow, a lot of autographs. That's pretty impressive. Emerson, I saw you signing out there too. You were like a celebrity.
Some people must have felt sorry for me.
You know, it was obviously a lot of fun. Did anyone go to the Goblet of Fire premiere, which was one guy? It was November 2005, and it brought back memories for me because, like, it was the same exact year, doing it all over again. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
At the Order of the Phoenix premiere in LA, we borrowed our friend's camera, and we had this giant TV camera with a shoulder strap and everything, so we looked like we were like an actual TV crew.
This time we looked like nudes.
Yeah, we did.
But they put us in between, and we got to give WB credit for this because
this was awesome.
They put us right in between this year's CNN and Reuters, so it's like, they got their big cameras, and I got a nice camera. It's small, but first of all, what's so funny about that? I mean, it's
great because it just shows the power of the Harry Potter fandom that, instead of having us stuck at the very end of the line, having to club other reporters with your microphone to get in there and ask a few questions, they're now, Warner Brothers recognizes how large this community really is, and so they actually put us at the front of the line where we can be comfortable and talk to the stars as they come through, at our own pace.
And of course, so the Reuters guy is to our right, and Emerson immediately knocks the guy's camera over. He doesn't say a word about it, and the Reuters camera guy is like,
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
And so that was kind of embarrassing.
Oh, the best part was that, we had great placement, except that we just happened to be placed right behind a giant lamppost.
Yeah, it's literally right in our
So
spot.
when you see the footage online, you'll notice that for every interview, instead of just standing comfortably and having a nice little chat with Emma, I'm like this, pressed up against it. And I had such an awkward moment. The very first, it was really cramped, and the very first person who came through was
Yates.
David Yates, right? Yates,
the director.
And we hadn't really figured out how we were going to stand next to the other journalists. So the lady from CNN, as soon as Yates got there, she just launched into position and was pressed up against me so hard, and I was just joking to death and standing there really awkwardly, not wanting to move because I didn't want to bump her hand while she was on camera. But so I had to sit there for the entire interview with our bodies pressed together so awkwardly. We eventually figured out a position that wouldn't, involve that much physical contact. Thank God.
Yeah. But then she asked for your number, so I think she liked it. So there were a couple of interesting things that we learned on the red carpet. Once again, we waited till the last minute to come up with questions, but that's okay because the CNN who was on our left, how it works is the stars will go one by one down the press line, and right before us was CNN, and CNN asked some question. Alan Rickman was there. And Alan Rickman was right there. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, we never see him.
Yeah, he never comes out to premieres. I don't know what his deal is this time. But anyway, so CNN somehow gets him to reveal, and I don't know if we've heard this yet, that J.K. Rowling, when he first got the part of Snape, he said to J.K. Rowling, look, I need to know something about Snape that nobody else knows. And Joe said, okay, but you can't tell anyone. And this was 10 years ago. So the CNN reporter naturally was like, so what was it? And he's like, oh, sorry, I cannot reveal this information. And then the CNN guy's like, well, the MuggleNet's right next door, so they're going to be bugging you more about it because, we're the fan site, we want to know. So then we ask him.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. And he still refuses to ask. Now, first of all, or to reveal. So does anybody have any theories of what, Joe could have told Alan and not have... He's still refusing to not tell it. And as Emerson said to Alan, I mean, all the books are out. You don't need to hide it anymore.
Yeah, I really don't know because I asked him. I said, okay, the books are out. There's no reason to worry about spoiling anything anymore. And his excuse was that not everyone has read the books. Well, everybody who visits MuggleNet.com has read the books.
I don't mean it was something that was in the books.
I don't know. We don't know. He may not even know. Has he read the books? He really may not know. But yeah, so I think that's I think that's a question for Joe now because I guess Alan Rickman promised he wouldn't tell anyone. So maybe it's a question for Joe. Maybe Joe's ready to tell. But I really want to know because we all love Snape. So
it was so weird talking to him. I had to stop myself from not actually calling him Snape.
Well, he has that voice.
He talks exactly like Snape all of the time. He's not acting, he is Snape.
It's the same thing with Michael Gambon, because he was at the press junket. We didn't interview him, but he was at the press junket, and I was there yesterday. That was before the premiere yesterday. And he walks in with David Yates, David Heyman, David Barron, and Steve Clovis, the screenwriter. And he starts talking, and I turned to the girl next to me. I was like, Snape's in the room. Dumbledore's in the room. He's talking to us because the voice is exactly the same.
Was he still wearing the tie in his beard?
No, but it was funny. During the junket, he was like, yeah, I had a wardrobe insert a pocket in my cloak for told cigarettes. I tweeted about that. That was so funny. Twitter.com/Muggleman. So, the updates were, did anyone follow this, the Twitter account? Anyone have a Twitter? Really good updates? I'm trying to tweet as much as possible. I know people are like, what's tweeting? What is this stupid word? Finally got Emerson to come around to tweeting, right?
I'm starting to see the value in it now. I didn't get it at all for a long time. I signed up for an account like a year ago, and I just thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. But I realized I didn't actually know how it worked. So now that I'm actually understanding how it works, it's actually starting to get fun.
Mike is a hardcore tweeter, aren't you?
Yeah.
No. And one last thing from the premiere I wanted to talk about. Well, actually, two more things. You asked them a good question, and they were like, "Oh wow, I've never thought of that before," which was, how are they going to explain this phenomenon to their grandkids when your great grandkids, 20, 30 years from now? And you asked pretty much like the entire cast that, right?
Yeah.
And what did some of them say?
They all had different ways of. It was kind of like, what does Harry Potter mean to you? When you really zoom out on something like this, that it's just, taking up a huge part of your life, and all the hype and the hubbub, and Heyman in particular was just knocked down by this question, and basically to them it's like this moment in time in which the entire world sort of started reading fiction again. You all have experiences, you all have friends, you may be one of those yourself who didn't really read until someone said, hey, read Harry Potter, and then all of a sudden it gave you new life. It suddenly made books seem interesting again. But I think you'll enjoy seeing their reactions to this question.
Yeah, and we have the interviews. They'll probably be up on the site tomorrow or whenever I can get to a computer that imports video. If anyone has a MacBook who would allow me to import the premiere footage, I'd be happy to do that right now. And I'll let you keep the footage too. And also you asked them what they were looking forward to filming in movie 7, because they're 5 months into it now. Alan Rickman actually revealed he starts in October, so that was interesting. What were they looking forward to filming?
I remember Tom Felton and Rupert both mentioned right away that they were really looking forward to the epilogue. They were really looking forward to seeing how Warner Brothers was going to make them look, old when they clearly weren't. Simple pleasure, I guess, right? They've been filming these for years now. They've had to do all kinds of crazy, stunts in CG and all these different sets, and yet they're most interested to see how the makeup's going to work.
Well, it's going to be more the makeup, and they said at the junket yesterday they're not sure how they're going to do it yet. The producers said they haven't figured out. And so one of the press was like, are you going to do it Benjamin Button style? And they were like, no, because with that, you go from older to younger, and we're trying to make them 17 years older. So, 19? Sorry. 19 years. I haven't read the books, I just showed up at the junket yesterday. So 19 years older. And so it will be interesting to see how they do that. I thought it was interesting that they still haven't figured out how they're going to age them. But David Heyman said, to wrap that all up, he said that the actors will be playing those roles definitely, which was good to hear. Because there was rumors that they were going to hire some new cast to play those roles, but the last scenes of movie 7 Part 2 can't be other actors. It has to be the trio. So, and Tom and Bonnie and all that.
It just reminded me of a really random part from the premiere. When we first got there and we saw where we were stationed and how cramped it was going to be, all the TV crews had people stationed outside. There's there's a barrier, there's the carpet, and then there's the camera guys. And so we thought we were going to have all the room in the world on the actual carpet to talk. And then this big burly security guy says, nope, you got to get behind the barrier. And so we all just kind of looked at each other and looked at the size, how tight it already was, and then just how can you ask us to try to fit there? And so you'll watch on the video and you see it every about 5 seconds, Andrew's pushing my head back, get your head out of the way, because you couldn't even see the on camera because it was cramped, but it was.
And then one last person, Dan, you also asked him what he was looking forward to filming. And what did he say? Right here. Let's play the video. No, he was most looking forward to